Thank you for checking out crypto.chartguys.com, the source for technical analysis in the cryptocurrency world. We are proud to announce our own crypto alert system designed to give you the most critical technical trading information possible no matter where you are. Keep your eyes on the market with mobile or email alerts for MACD crosses, RSI levels, and even inside bar alerts for dozens of coins across multiple exchanges. New features and proprietary ChartGuys indicators are already in development. Our alert system is very easy to customize and utilize, so don't hesitate to sign up for the most effective crypto trading tool on the market at crypto.chartguys.com. Good evening, everyone. Hope you're doing well this wonderful Wednesday night. We're going to be looking at the big four. We're going to be looking at Ripple and Golem. Shout out to my boy Golem. But just wanted to touch on a couple things first. Thanks everybody for your messages on the last video. Gave away a course, lucky number, random number 42, and had to give a few extra courses away. Shout out to Dane, the 10-year-old, who is learning technical analysis and can spot an inside bar a mile away. Very inspiring to see that happen, and certainly going to be positioning himself well for the future. Had to give Dane some free courses. And we'll do that again in a couple weeks. Certainly enjoy hearing from everybody. So, also we got Golem being added to Bitfinex, which is significant, obviously, and seeing a run up to all-time highs because of that. So with the alert system, we are currently compiling data for Golem to be traded on that exchange, and we are going to be adding it in the near-term future. And that only increases the potential odds that Golem is added to Coinbase as well. I'm still holding my long-term position. We'll look at that towards the end. Let's lead it off with Bitcoin. We just had some FUD hit. We had some South Korean news come out, tightening regulations on exchanges and no more anonymous accounts, and some exchanges might be shut down. All in all, the general consensus is no big deal, but the first reaction to any kind of news that has any kind of bearish implications is going to be a race to the exit, and that's just due to the risky nature of this space. There are people out there that are going to bail first thing. And if I were in the middle of a trade and that happened, I would bail first thing too. So it's mostly traders that get caught in that scenario first thing. And we are seeing a bounce attempt, but the bears are still in control is the bottom line. And we had a bit of a fake out on Bitcoin, but well, let's look at that. Let's start on the daily time frame. So where we stood yesterday, we were still watching the 4-hour equilibrium tightening patterns and waiting for a clear break for some clarity. Bitcoin broke in the morning bullish and then quickly dumped right after that. It was a fake out. And I call it a fake out because only Bitcoin broke bullish. Neither Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, nor Litecoin broke their equilibrium bullish with Bitcoin. So it was a bit of a singular event, and then the bears took it right back over. So we'll look at that in depth as well. Daily time frame, we're heading down, looking at support of 13,210. That is our initial low of consolidation on the daily. We do have a little higher low, and now we need to find, or we do have a higher high, and now we need to find another higher low compared to 13,200. If we break 13,210, it is a big red flag because we have little support until 13,000, 12,000, 11,000 psychological support levels, and that's the last thing the bulls want to see. If that happens, we will get some really nice oversold bounces yet again, in my opinion. So the 4-hour time frame gave us an initial bull break. So here was our high of the equilibrium pattern, and we broke it first thing, but we very quickly turned right around and dumped. And if we look at let's look at the 15-minute time frame on when that break occurred this morning. So here's the bull volume. We got the break. We had a double top. So we had a top at 16,490 and then a top at 16,484. So then we lost the higher low pattern. Not a huge red flag, but definitely a heads up to exit if you're in a shorter term bull trade. And then the fact that we gave it all right back and lost these 15-minute higher lows, that's a big red flag. To have a breakout and then a complete rejection and dump means that something's not right. We're not seeing the follow through that we would anticipate. And again, combined with the other names that did not follow through as well, it was a big red flag that this breakout was unlikely to see significant follow through. So where we stand right now, we are still trying to recover from this dump that just occurred, and I don't think bottom is in just yet, but let's see what these details say, and here we go. We're down at the low. So 14,120. Hourly RSI is not oversold. 15-minute RSI is oversold, so these 15-minute RSI alerts are going out. Hourly ones are what I am personally waiting for. There's too much bearish action right now forget the news event that's causing this most recent dump, but even just today, the pullback that we saw today, I personally am waiting for hourly oversold conditions before I'm comfortable on these bounces. So we are testing the low right now. If we drop down to another leg down and see a break of 14,000 psychological, I'm going to be looking down at 13,849 and 13,500 as the next few levels, and we would likely need to see a dump into the 13,800s or so before this hourly RSI would get oversold. And that's just an educated guess, but you can see we're closing in on it, but we're not quite there yet. So on the 4-hour time frame, we are still, there we go, need to fix that. So we're still dropping down and still looking for a higher low compared to 13,210. And if we continue to dump, as it looks like we are right now, we are going to see this hourly oversold RSI get to oversold conditions before we reach 13,200. So the odds of holding that low, at least on this dump, are likely. And we're going to watch for oversold RSI conditions. Once the hourly, 5-minute, and 15-minute are all oversold, I'm a very comfortable buyer looking for the dip, and I will be scaling in if we get that set up. So checking on some alert systems earlier today, some alert examples for Bitcoin. These are the price shears that indicate when there is significant price action for both bulls and bears, but just want to show how a shorter term day trader can use these 15-minute signals for significant upside in the short term. Again, these alerts go out and then we have bullish action for about 2 hours, and the alert goes out and we have bullish action for another 2.5 hours. And then it's the opposite with the bears. So here we had a bearish price shear and then another one. So these are examples of getting information, not only a bull breaks, but also a bear breaks. And I use these 15-minute price shears for a heads up where if I get that bear break and a bear price shear, and then I get a bullish, or I get just a regular old oversold 15-minute RSI alert, I know, okay, we just dumped really fast and hard at short term and we're oversold. So that tells me to hop on and look for an oversold bounce, which is what I'm doing right now, except on a longer term time frame. Due to the FUD, when you have a news event driving a dump, the bears can stay in control longer and the RSI levels and indicators can get more extreme. So that's a scenario I'm potentially protecting from in terms of, trying to rush in here and buy the dip. If it bounces without me, no big deal. I miss that trade and I look for the next one, but I have to ensure that I am comfortable and confident in my entry to be comfortable and confident in the trade. So checking in on Ethereum, very similar correlation, but still more bullish because we started closer to the top of the 4-hour equilibrium, but you see we didn't break it even though Bitcoin did, and the support level to hold is 641. Have to form a higher low compared to that level. We look at the 4-hour time frame, and here's our tops with our inability to break bullish. And once we broke this support of 738, that was a red flag because we have multiple tops and then we lose the higher low pattern. So that was the initial red flag, had a bounce attempt, and now here is the bearish news and the bear volume with that. Looking at the hourly RSI, we are oversold. So we hit oversold here, dumped down to 680. We bounced all the way up to 715, a nice $35 bounce. And you can see just comparatively where Bitcoin is down at the low and dumped down to lower lows, Ethereum is holding support. So it's holding up a bit better at this point. 15-minute RSI close to dipping back to oversold. But my point being, ETH is going to be more oversold on the hourly time frame. If we drop down to another lower low, ETH is going to be a nice oversold entry opportunity in my opinion. And Bitcoin has yet to give us any clarity in terms of whether the bottom of this bounce is in. Need to see a 5-minute higher low and higher high to be confident that the temporary low is in for now. And Ethereum would be my choice for an entry. But it all depends if we head down to a lower low or if we hold this 680 support. And again, I'm not going to be making any bullish entry right now with this current setup until I see something that I like. And I don't like Ethereum just yet. I would have liked to see another lower low like Bitcoin just did for some oversold conditions, but this tells me that the Ethereum bulls are holding up better than Bitcoin and having a little bit more bullish correlation. Resistance is 715, and looks like the bulls are coming up to test it now after a 5-minute higher low. Litecoin is the most bearish of the big four, and that's because we have already broken the low. And look at the support here on the daily. There is no support except psychological levels and then down to 144. So we look at the 4-hour time frame. We have a bear break of the equilibrium pattern. And that bear break occurred 2 candlesticks ago. Look at this inside bar signal on the 4-hour time frame. Inside bar broke bearish at 256. And Dane will tell us all about that. And if a 10-year-old is doing a good job of spotting these inside bars, that's how we know it is very graphically and pictorially easy to identify. So stick with it and keep looking at the charts because they definitely stand out glaringly once you're looking for them. So inside bar broke bearish at 256. We're dumping down to the lows. We've got the hourly RSI oversold more so than both Ethereum and Bitcoin. So right now, Litecoin is the most oversold ticker. The 15-minute RSI is oversold. We just dropped down and formed a double bottom, 241.68, 241.70. So both Ethereum and Litecoin did not dump down to lower lows while Bitcoin did. And this is what I call a bottom fishing play, where if you make an entry into this position, you have a stop loss just below that 241 double bottom. And if we do drop down to lower lows, you get stopped out. I'm not going to make this trade because there's too much volatility and I am not confident that our low is going to hold, but I make that trade all the time with stocks and cryptocurrencies, just a clear base of support, very low risk because you're only risking a few dollars before you get stopped out, and the reward would be the bulls recover and we see, you know, a $10, $15 bounce to the upside. So risk to reward greatly favors reward in a bottom fishing scenario. Checking in on Bitcoin Cash, it also broke bearish. It's number 2. It's right there in terms of weakness with Litecoin. So we have no support until down at 1,550, besides psychological levels. 4-hour inside bar broke bearish at 2,580, and we dropped down $180 after that. 4-hour RSI is close to oversold. Hourly RSI is oversold, and it looks like we formed a double bottom here, similar to Ethereum and Litecoin. 2,400, 2,408. So we have a higher low the bulls are trying to hold, and we have to break the high of the initial bounce attempt on all 3 of these names, Litecoin, Ethereum, and Bitcoin Cash, if the bulls are going to see follow through. And Bitcoin itself has a lot more work to do because we don't have a higher low nor a double bottom. We have a lower low. So we're still in a lower high, lower low pattern. So these are all just little differences between all 4 of these names. If I were looking to play anything bullish, I'm looking at Ethereum because it's been proving to me it is pretty strong the past couple days. Litecoin is still really nice volatility, and risk to reward is higher in terms of the percentage moves compared to Bitcoin. And personally, going to be patient tonight and wait. That's where I'm at. And by the time this video gets out to you all, it'll be too late to play this bounce anyway. So we'll see if you all made that bounce entry and how it fared. So checking in on Bitcoin Cash and some of the alerts that went out for, or this is actually Litecoin. So some of the alerts that went out for Litecoin today, not only is it telling us when to buy, it's telling us when to protect profit. The 15-minute time frame here, and I'm just using a day trader perspective, but certainly longer term time frames are great for swing traders. But the RSI was overbought, and it signaled that that was at our top of the move. And then after that, we get a 15-minute bearish price shear. So if you go from an overbought RSI to a 15-minute bearish price shear, you know that there's a lot of profit taking going on. And then we got another 15-minute bearish price shear, and then we get our 15-minute RSI oversold that I was talking about. So if I get multiple 15-minute bearish price shears, and then I get an RSI oversold indicator, I know to be looking for that bounce to play out. And we bounced for a real nice $14 real quickly in under 2 hours. So again, not just single alerts. I love the single inside bar alerts, but I use a combination of the price shear and the RSI levels for an indication, just in terms of giving me a picture. Because when I get those alerts, I don't even have to look at the chart. I obviously am going to if I'm going to make any trades based off of it. But getting those alerts alone, I know visually what is happening on the charts. We're dumping short term, we're hitting oversold conditions, and we're looking for a short term bounce. Checking in on Ripple, getting a new all-time high today. So Ripple, really nice higher low, higher high daily pattern, healthy consolidation. What stands out here on this chart when consolidation came to an end? Declining bear volume, great sign for the bulls. Inside bar broke bullish at $1.04. Next thing you know, 2 days later, we're up at 127 at an all-time high. So inside bar giving the signal that consolidation was done and the bulls are ready to show up with increasing bull volume. We're now forming an inside bar with some healthy consolidation. 4-hour time frame. We've got a wide range here. And the clear red flag that profit taking was coming was this lower high and then lower low on the hourly. As soon as we broke 118, that gave us that lower high and lower low, and a lot of people exited once that occurred. You can see that high bear volume. So overall, the bulls are still in control on the longer term time frames. I'd say key support, essential for me is 107. If this 107 support level holds, the bulls maintain control. You can see we have some incremental higher lows forming here. If we lose that level, it's a big enough setback that it is a red flag for the bulls. And not only was that inside bar on the daily time frame a nice indication, but here we have 15-minute price shear. 15-minute bull break. RSI is overbought. We consolidate. RSI overbought signal again. We consolidate. 15-minute price shear. Bull breakout to the all-time high. So shorter term 15-minute signals giving us indication on when consolidation is likely to occur and also when the bulls are breaking out. Last, we got Golem. Golem bulls looking great with a new all-time high after being added to Bitfinex. We're going to be looking for Coinbase next. We'll see if we get it. But I traded Golem for the first time today. Traded my long-term position. I haven't touched it in 5 months. And I traded it today just because with blue sky breakouts means high volatility. And with high volatility gives high opportunity to increase your position. So that's what I did. And I'll go over that in just a minute. But we're now in consolidation mode, very significantly correlated to Bitcoin. Here's that dump on Bitcoin. Here's the bounce attempt. And we're seeing that same thing. Bitcoin's bounce is getting a little bit more legs now, although it's still not convincing. But it's a very similar correlation. And the bears took over inside bar, hourly bear break at 828. And next thing you know, we're down at 6.5. A lot of profit could have been protected if utilizing that bear signal as an exit, and then of course the dump followed. So what I did today is sold. Oh, and I had nice lines all drawn up and they're gone. But what I did was look at the all-time high, and I was just sitting here, with my sell order filled out and looking for a signal that the move was done for the time being. And it was actually, I was trading GNT, BTC. That's why my lines aren't there. So I was looking at our low of consolidation on the 5-minute time frame, a bounce and an attempt at a new all-time high. Couldn't get it, so that's a lower high. And then as soon as we break this line, that's our lower high and lower low. I sold right on that line. I put my stop loss level just below that point. It triggered me out. Then I bought on the 5-minute RSI being oversold. So I reloaded full position. I now have 7% more Golem coins than I did yesterday. And that's just by utilizing that. And you could say, well, if you didn't sell, you could have bought cheaper. I had no idea FUD was coming. And that's not the kind of thing that I'm going to beat myself up over. I have a 7% increased position. What more could I ask for? That's a great addition to my stack. And I'm going to continue to do that, flip and accumulate. And I've been doing that with Golem all year. And I stopped for a long time, but that's how I got my initial position that was all profitable, just by flipping it and reloading and adding more coins. And again, it's all about compounding profits. If you're able to, you would be astounded at how quickly your gains can accrue if you are compounding profits. And that's just an example of what I'm doing with GNT, where my strategy, you're used to my strategy being to accumulate as much US dollars as I can, being cash and being safe. Here is an example where my goal is to accumulate as many coins as possible. Again, just for the high risk, high reward play here for the potential of the future. And I am going to continually flip it. Anytime I can flip it and add 5% coins, that is a big win in my opinion. And anytime I can get more than that, it is a huge win. So that's my goal for Golem, and going to not be trading it very actively. But if opportunities like this with this kind of volatility continue, I will continue to trade it. So I appreciate you all tuning in. That's where we stand. I'm very cautious on the big four. Still too much weakness. Now we have this FUD that we have to work through and have to convince the market that everything's fine. So I am very cautious. I am keeping my eyes on Ethereum and Litecoin the most for my plays. That's where I am most comfortable trading the last couple days. And Ethereum is likely at the top of the list. I appreciate you all watching. I hope you have a great rest of your night, and we'll see you tomorrow.